Yo, what's up, Taurus? Welcome to your monthly forecast for the month of April 2018, Taurus. A lot of important astrology happening once again this month. We've got Mercury, which is going to be going direct mid-month. It's been retrograding since March 22nd. We've got Chiron, which is going to be changing signs. That's an asteroid in our solar system that has to do with sensitivity, and it's actually going to be shifting, which is interesting because Chiron has to do with sensitivity, but the area that is shifting for you, it's going to shift into this area that also has to do with sensitivity, and it's going to be there until it's going to retrograde back into this area of technology for you, but then it's going to eventually move forward again. I'll explain that more later in the forecast, but eventually once it moves forward again, it's going to be in an area for you that has to do with sensitivity, and it's going to be there for a long time. It's going to be there until April 14th, 2027. So this is a whole new chapter that's beginning. And then we've also got Saturn, which is going retrograde on April 17th. And we have Pluto, which is going retrograde on April 22nd. So there's a lot of change of direction here this month, and the sun is going to be the sun is going to be in an area for you that has to do with letting go. It has to do with secret situations. It's going to be in this area until April 19th. So first 3 weeks of April 2018, Taurus, you may see something come up about a secret in your life. Something may come up regarding letting go potentially. Not all of you, but some of you, yes. For others of you, this might have to do with you just need to get some rest. So the first 3 weeks of April will probably be a good time for you to get some rest, because on April 19th, the sun is going to shift into your sign. There's going to be a revitalizing influence that comes in with the sun shifting back into your sign. It's your solar return. It's going to be a time of new beginnings for you. So those are the main themes for you, Taurus, for the month of April 2018. Now I'm going to talk about some more specific major astrological influences that are set to occur this month and what they mean for you. Right off the bat on April 2nd, we have Mars, which is going to be aligning with Saturn. So Mars and Saturn aligning in the same part of the sky. And for you, this has to do with faraway places, foreign cultures, spirituality. So I'm not saying on April 2nd, all of a sudden, every Taurus is going to go jet set to a distant location. No, but this might be the indication that some of you might want to go somewhere far away, but potentially you feel restricted. So, Mars is push ahead. Mars is forge ahead. Saturn is restrict. So maybe there is somewhere far away that some of you want to go. If that's not the case, maybe this just has to do with freedom, Taurus. This really could have to do with freedom for a lot of you. Some of you feel sort of limited. Saturn is limiting you. Saturn is restricting you with something in your life. Mars wants to push through it, wants to push ahead. So there's kind of a struggle there going on. Like I said, for others of you, this might have to do with faraway places, foreign cultures, spirituality, however that factors into your life. On April 4th, Mercury retrograde will aspect Mars. And Mercury is going to be retrograding in this area that has to do with, it could be something coming to a completion potentially. It could have something to do with letting go. It could have something to do with a secret in your life. And it's aspecting Mars, which is in this area of faraway places, foreign cultures, spirituality. And it's interesting because there's different parts of the sky. There's more than one part of the sky that has to do with spirituality, and spirituality is definitely a big factor for you this month, but there's different ways to look at it. So where Mercury is on April 4th, this is more the part of spirituality. It has to do more with the esoteric arts. It has to do more with astrology, numerology, tarot. It has to do more with things that we really can't see or understand about spirituality, no matter how hard we try. And it's making an aspect to Mars, which is in an area that has to do with more visible types of spirituality. So, obviously not all Tauruses are into traditional religion, but where Mars is, it's almost like this is an area that, this is like what we see about, like, what do you see about religion? What can you actually, what's visible about it? So you see the difference there. Where Mercury is, it's like non-visible, and where Mars is, it's more visible. So there's some kind of challenge there. Some of you are really going through a spiritual phase in your life, especially with Saturn being in this area until December 2020. So there may be things that you just don't understand about it, and you're going through a learning process. Eventually you will get more clarity, but not yet. On April 7th, Venus will be aspecting Saturn positively. So Venus is going to be in your sign on April 7th. And Venus is your ruler. So this is going to make you feel really good. Venus is soft, and Venus is diplomatic, and Venus is, the things that are pleasurable and desirable. And it's going to be aspecting Saturn positively. And Saturn is more of a long-term type of influence, and this might even suggest for some of you, and because Venus is in the mix, so this might be an attraction for some of you. Are you attracted? I'm not saying all Taurus are attracted to someone who's spiritual potentially. So whether you're attracted to somebody, for like romantically, or potentially some of you might just be interested in somebody who's a spiritual figure in your life. And this could really be an indication of that on April 7th with this positive aspect between Venus and Saturn that's happening. Now, others of you might have something going on that has to do with a faraway place or a foreign culture, and that's very specific. So obviously not all Tauruses are going to experience stuff like that. On April 11th, the Sun will aspect Jupiter, which is retrograding. And the Sun is going to be in this area of secrets for you on April 11th, Taurus. And the aspect it's making to Jupiter retrograde is sort of like a change of direction. And, Jupiter's in this area for you on April 11th. That's to do with your relationship situation. So if you are in a relationship, it's like you're either making adjustments or you want to change direction potentially regarding your relationship. So it's going to be one or the other. Not all Tauruses are going to want to change direction completely about relationship situations. So, but others of you, potentially maybe you will, and then others of you might just want to make some adjustments regarding a relationship situation on April 15th. Mercury is going to go direct. It's in this area of secrets for you. Mercury is conversations. Mercury is thought. So while it was retrograding since March 22nd, R for retrograde, R for review. It's where the planet looks like it's going backwards. It's not really going backwards, but it looks like it is. What does that mean astrologically? Well, potentially some of you were reviewing, maybe thinking about, a secret in your life potentially, or maybe a secret situation in your life potentially. Others of you potentially having some closed door conversations that are more private, secret conversations. That's obviously not going to resonate for all of you. But with Mercury retrograding, it's like you really didn't make a decision about a secret situation in your life yet, or whether or not you want to let go of something. That might be the case for a few of you. But I'd say after April 15th, if you need to let go of something, you're probably going to make a decision. If you have a secret in your life and you want to proceed with it, you're going to probably make a decision as to whether or not you will proceed with it or you won't. Also on April 15th, we have a new moon, which is in this area of secrets for you. So the 6 months that follow April 15th, some of you potentially in those 6 months are going to have some new secrets developing in your life in the 6 months that follow April 15th. For others of you, this has to do with this is a very specific, but a few of you potentially somehow being introduced to the esoteric arts, numerology, tarot, astrology, new developments regarding this in the 6 months that follow April 15th. Taurus, for others of you, this is really going to give you what you need to let go if you have to. So if there is something that you really need to let go of, it's going to happen in it should happen in the 6 months that follow April 15th, Taurus, and that new moon on April 17th, Chiron, shifting into this area of secrets. This area also has to do with sensitivity. Chiron's a lot about sensitivity. Chiron's an asteroid, so follow me on this. This gets a little bit meticulous here. It's going to move into this area of sensitivity for you on April 17th. Then on July 5th, it's going to go retrograde in this area. Then on September 25th, it's going to retrograde so much that it's going to go back into your sector of technology and friendships. And then it'll eventually go direct in that area again on December 9th. And then it'll eventually just move forward again. And it'll be in this area of sensitivity for you until April 14th, 2027. That's a long time. This is a whole new chapter for you, Taurus. So this might make you a little bit more sensitive here and there up until April 14th, 2020. So, a lot of you are a little bit, you're the sign of the bull. You can be a little bit more stubborn. You can be a little bit more bullheaded. This is going to bring a level of sensitivity to you. And it could happen intermittently, until that time, until April 14th, 2027, you might be dealing with intermittent situations. Now, just remember that it's due to the influence of Chiron. So, if you are feeling overly sensitive. This has to do with oversensitivity. Like, you might be making too big of a deal out of something. If you are, just know that it's the influence of Chiron. Saturn's also going retrograde on April 17th. This is an area that has to do with spirituality. It's going to retrograde until September 6th. R for retrograde, R for review. You know, some of you are really trying to understand something about a spiritual subject, and this could have to do, for some of you, very specific, could have to do with faraway places or foreign cultures. Some of you specifically might be returning to a faraway place you've been to before. April 22nd, Pluto also retrograding in this area, spirituality, faraway places, foreign cultures. It's going to retrograde until September 30th. This is going to bring a little bit more of an intensity to these situations. And then we have the full moon, which is on April 29th. This has to do with a relationship situation. Get ready for a potential change in your relationship situation. For others of you, a development, if you want to take it to the next level, yes. If you are looking to split, I mean, I'm not saying all are, but that specific situation. But, you know, full moon in this area of relationship, Taurus, if it's not going so well, then don't lie to yourself. But I think that's all for you this month, Taurus. Thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe, share, and like. I'm on Instagram, Gregory Furlan Astrology. Thank you for watching. Have a great month, and I'll see you next time.